Cole.
You're kidding. Just one shot?
They're not all zombies, Doug. How do you fight this thing?
Maybe we could drown it in A1 sauce.
Well, sometimes that is better. The person you put up there ain't the person that comes back.
It's a dance song to get down with. About 6 feet under. Get down.
Ooh, I love this song. I'm hung up in a grave situation.
And now we come to the thrilling final episode of our radio drama.
Hello, and welcome to episode 278 of the Rotten Reviews podcast. Sorry this episode's going to sound a little worse than the other ones. Under the weather, not feeling great. So we're probably going to, jump forward a little bit quicker than we usually do. Might not have as much energy as we always do. And for that, I'm sorry, but I just want to make sure the episodes keep getting out on time. Maybe next time I'll postpone it. But I don't really like postponing episodes. So we're here. Sick, unwell, tired, lack of sleep. We got everything, but that's fine. We're going to keep trucking on. And if you're a new listener, hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. Don't take this one for like the judgment call. Make sure to check out a couple of the old episodes as well. That way you know what the podcast usually sounds like. If you're a returning listener, thank you for showing up each and every single week. I appreciate you guys so much. It helps make this little creation of mine last a little bit longer. So I appreciate you guys and gals and everyone. So thank you for showing up each and every single week. So let's jump right into that housekeeping section like we like to do each and every single week.
Housekeeping?
I think you're sleeping.
Housekeeping?
Could you come back in an hour?
Housekeeping, you want towels?
More towels. Need sleepy.
Housekeeping, you want mint for pillow?
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God.
Want to help support the podcast? Whatever podcast platform you're listening on, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that comment button. If you can leave a review, if you're on Spotify, feel free to leave a 5-star. You're a 4-star. If you want to leave a 1-star too, that's fine too. I don't have enough energy in me to be upset with you about it, so this is your one free chance to leave a 1-star if you feel so unkindly to do so in the new year. If you're on Amazon, or not Amazon, Apple, or iTunes, leave a review. But the main thing that you can do, no matter what podcast platform you're on, just hit that share button. That share button helps get the podcast out there to a bunch of new eyes and ears, and I appreciate that so much. You want to keep in touch with me at Type Inside. All the social media links are down below. We have the Rotten Reviews podcast page on Instagram as well. Definitely go check out the YouTube channel. Over on the YouTube channel, you can see the daily shorts I drop every single day for my daughter's Lunchbox Surprise series. Right now, we're doing Shrek. Next week is some more anime. I think Demon Slayer, Demon Hunter, one of the ones. I'm not too sure. I know there's some more One Piece and whatnot. We have the old episodes of the podcast dropping every single Monday as well. We have new gaming videos dropping every single Wednesday. And there's a bunch of other tons of free content over there as well. I'm going to get my words mixed up a lot today because my head is just like throbbing all over the place. So bear with me, folks. It's not going to be a good episode, but we're going to get through it together. And I had planned to start live streaming at the beginning of the new year, but I think that's going to be postponed just for a little bit because I'm not going back in the live streaming feeling like shit. I've got to make sure I wait until I'm feeling healthy and able to record. So we're going to wait a little bit. Make sure to check out the CWC. Links are down below for the Canadian Wrestling Championship page on Instagram, Facebook, as well as YouTube. So if you want some wrestling-related content, you can find that stuff all over there as well. With that being said, let's take a little look at the movie we're watching today. You can watch it for free if you have Amazon Prime. We are watching Night of the Living Dead 3D from 2006. This movie features a 3.1 out of 10 on IMDb, a 4.1 out of 5 on Amazon.ca, and 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. 63% of Google users have enjoyed this movie. Initial release date was September 8th, 2006. The budget was $750,000, and the box office was $1.5 million. Has a runtime of an hour and 20 minutes. Description as read on IMDb, both a homage to and a reimagining of the original 1968 film. This update follows a group of survivors trapped in a farmhouse battling a siege of undead zombies in 3D. Directed by Jeff Broadstreet, who also did Nightmare Hostel in 2005. He's the producer for 1989's Sex Bomb. He was a producer for 2012's Night of the Living Dead 3D, the Reanimated. I believe that was a fully cartoon one. I could be wrong on that one. He's also was a producer for 2025's short Herbert West's Reanimator. Alright, so that one I thought was the cartoon one. It wasn't. It's actually Night of the Living Dead 3D Reanimation, where Jeffrey Combs, Herbert West, is actually in a Night of the Living Dead kind of parody looking movie. Doesn't sound like it's too bad. Might actually watch it at some point. This movie has 3 writers attached to it. I'm not sure if the other 2 actually had anything to do with this movie or if they're just being credited on because of the original. Obviously, we're going to talk about those ones first. The first one we're going to talk about is John A. Romero, of course, the legend, the master himself, the father of the zombies. He was the writer for 2005's Land of the Dead. I love that movie a lot, to be honest with you. He's also the writer for 1988's Monkey Shrines. Love that movie as well. That movie's great. He's the writer for 1968's Night of the Living Dead, the original. Love that movie. Can't say anything bad about that. The next one they have in the noting section on IMDb is 2007's Diary of the Dead. Don't really remember that one at all, to be honest with you guys. I wasn't really a big fan of Diary of the Dead movies. I think there's more than one of them. I could be wrong. Like I said, my head hurts, so. But he was also the executive producer for 89 episodes from 1983 to 1988 of Tales from the Dark Side, as well as executive producer for 1993's The Dark Half. That was a pretty good movie as well. Definitely enjoyed that one. A Stephen King movie, too. The other writer that's attached to this one that I wasn't sure if he actually had anything actively to do with it or not is John A. Russo. He's known for being the writer for 1968's Night of the Living Dead. He was also the writer for 1990's Night of the Living Dead remake. He was the writer for 1985's Return of the Living Dead. In 1996, he did 2 different Christmas-related movies, one being Santa Claus, where he was the writer. Also, he was the writer for 1996 Scream Queen's Naked Christmas, which I've never even heard of before. But the other writer we're going to talk about, the one that's the main writer for this one, we're going to talk about Robert Waldinger. He was the writer for, or actually he was the editor for 2012's Night of the Living Dead 3D, the Reanimator, or Reanimated. He was the editor for 2006's Night of the Living Dead 3D as well. He was the producer for 2009's Nightmares in Red, White, and Blue. He was the editor for 2009's Away with Murder. He's got a lot of editor-related titles, but not a lot of writing-related titles. Is what it is, I guess. The tagline for this movie, an all-new dimension of the horror classic. Yeah, I was going to just jump into and start talking about the movie, but I forgot. I haven't even talked about the cast members in this one at all. Yeah, I'm sick, folks, just so you're aware. I kind of just glossed right over it because I'm an idiot. We're just going to quickly talk about 2 of the characters. The first one we're going to talk about is Barb, played by Brianna Brown. She apparently was in 7 episodes of 2024 TV show Outer Banks. She was in 27 episodes from 2013 to 2015 of a TV show Devious Maids. And of course, she's in 243 episodes from 2010 to 2015 of General Hospital, and 13 episodes from 2017 to 2022 of Dynasty. She's one of those, apparently, actresses, so hopefully she's good. I've never even heard of her before. And of course, the other person we're going to talk about on the cast list is the character Gerald Tover Jr. I might have butchered that one name. Anyways, it's Sid Haig's character, and I'm sure everyone knows who Sid Haig is. He's Captain Spaulding for, The Devil's Rejects, House of Thousand Corpse, from 2005, 2003. He was Buddy in 2015's Bone Tomahawk. He was Jay in 2004's Kill Bill Volume 2. He was Bartender Sam in 2016's Razor. He was in the music video Twisted, Sick Man in 2014. He was the commander in 2013's Zombex. There's a bunch of other horror-related movies that he's in, and I'm not going to list them all because, well, I'm not going to. But with that being said, we're getting to that section where we're going to start talking about this movie. And if you're a new listener, what I like to do each and every single episode, I talk about the movie from start to finish and all the points in between that interest me. So that means it's going to be a spoiler-heavy episode. So if you don't want to be spoiled, feel free to pause it now, go watch it on Amazon Prime, or just sit back, relax, listen to me talk about the movie. If you've never seen it before, you'll be okay with skipping it, or you'll go check it out for yourself. I leave that judgment call up to you at the end of this episode. So with that being said, if you're at home, hopefully you're nice and comfy and relaxed. If you got some snacks or whatever it might be. If you're at work, hopefully this helps you get through the day. And if you're out commuting, going to friends or families, just keep your eyes on the road. I know it's winter here. Snow's coming down. Ice rain's coming down. So just be careful where you're going. Make sure nobody gets hurt. And let's get started on the episode at hand right now.
Presents Saturday Night at the Movies, the television series which each week brings you the finest in recent motion pictures. Tonight,
started about 2 weeks ago. First, it was just a twitch here, a twitch there. I thought it was my mind playing tricks on me. And then some of them got up and started coming.
So we actually have the movie starting out as the classic black and white screen of the car coming down the long, windy road. And we think it's actual part of the movie. But then the camera starts zooming out and we see it's the original movie being played on old school TV. Then we see this car driving by and we see we're at a gas station and the doors open on this SUV, but the gas pump is just literally on the ground. And then Night of the Living Dead 3D starts coming at you. And we're just like, maybe that's part of the zombie apocalypse happening already. But then we start following this Mini Cooper that's going down the road. So then we see inside this car, and it's Barb and John, their brother and sister, of course, like the original movie. And on the phone, Barb's texting her mom, being like, I'm going to be late for the ceremony. Going to be late for the funeral. And then the phone texts back, was John late picking you up? He's like, yeah, of course, Mom. I was always late. I just want to do, spend my day off, going to see some dead person I've only met a couple times. And Barb's like, John, why can't you say something nice about your aunt? She's like, well, why? Why would I care? Your mom's never even said anything nice about her anyways. And now she's just like, oh, my sister's gone. Oh, what am I going to do with my life? And then they start arguing in the car, and Barb's like, this map is wrong. And John's like, it's MapQuest. It's not wrong. It can't be wrong. Just figure it out. So we see them turn down the road where the cemetery is. They finally get parked. They get parked behind the hearse. And then we see where the casket is and a bunch of empty chairs. Barb's like, that must be them up there, but where is everybody? Was there nobody around at all? So they get up to the section where the coffin is, and Barb's like, where is everybody? And John's like, maybe you missed the whole damn thing. I don't know what that is. She's like, well, why is the coffin on the ground? Look at everyone's car still down there. Where do you think everyone is? He's like, I don't know. Maybe they're getting coffee. I don't know where they are. So John's like, I'm going to go find the head office, see what's going on. And then Barb's like, oh, come on, John, you got to wait. We hear a noise. And then she looks at the coffin, and she sees the coffin moving a little bit. John's already now down at the car, and he's now being attacked by two zombies that just came out from behind the hearse. John's able to get free from these two zombies, so then he jumps into his car and just speeds away. And Barb's like, John, you want to wait? So then those two zombies that were attacking John start coming towards where Barb is. And then Barb goes to turn to get away, and then she's like grabbed by another zombie, and it's her mother. And she's like, Mom, no, Mom. She's able to get free, and she starts running through the woods, to get away from the zombies. She trips and falls because she's got a tight skirt on. So then she pulls like a knife out of her purse, like slices up the front of the skirt. That way she get a little bit more distance while running. And then she pops up at the mortuary house And we see some naked zombies eating some people on the ground. And she gets all freaked out. She's like, I'm going to go hide somewhere else. So she runs into this garage and closes the garage door and then starts exploring into the building a little bit more. And it's connected to like the morgue. And she walks up this like rampway area and goes through this like medical curtain. And there's this decaying body on one of the tables. I'm not sure if it's been there for a while. I'm not sure if somebody's doing some tests or not, whatnot. But as she's looking in, we see our fingers coming up on the other side of one of the doors. So then she gets freaked out, runs out of the spot, then bumps into another door, and then there's another zombie coming through that door as well. So then she goes to leave through the garage again, and that zombie is opening up the garage door, and she's all spooked. And then Gerald shows up, Sid Haig's character, hits him in the head with a shovel. Be like, miss, I'm sorry, you can't be in here. This is employees only. He's like, I'm sorry you can't actually be here right now. We're going to have to let you see your family members at a different time. There's some incidents happening right now, and now's not the time for us to go see your loved ones. We're going to have to set up a different time for it. So then Barb just runs through the garage again, runs to the front gate that she got in through, and runs out of it because there's more zombies inside the compound now that are chasing her down. And we're just left with Sid's character fighting off a different zombie, being like, this is not helping out either one of us. How about you go back into the ground there, Delgamo, or whatever he was calling the zombie's name. Now it's nighttime. She's in the middle of the woods, and she picks up her phone to call John to get pissed off at him for leaving her in the middle of the woods. And it's just a voicemail she's leaving because nobody's picking up on the other end. So now, after she gets done leaving this voicemail for Johnny, we have a text message coming through that just says, coming for you, Barbara. And then she gets spooked because now there's another zombie coming out of the woods at her. Actually, there's another two zombies coming out of the woods at her. And she drops her phone and the battery falls out of it. Back in the old days when you had like those old flip phones or older phones and you could drop them on the floor and the back casing would actually come off and you could see the battery. They don't know her when she's fighting these two zombies. This guy comes up on a dirt bike and just starts punching the zombies in the face. And then she hops on the back of the dirt bike and they ride off in the middle of the woods somewhere. And we find out the guy on the bike that saved her is Ben. He's like, who are those guys? He's like, I don't know, just go. And he's like, I got some friends that live up the road a little bit. We'll go there because he'll be safe there. And we see them showing up at the big old Cooper family farmhouse. And of course, we see the dad, and it's Henry Cooper, the original dickhead from the original movie that was hiding in the basement the whole time. Anyways, Ben goes to describe what happened to Barb, to Henry. He's like, I know you want to call the cops and all, but, shouldn't you call the cops for, the situation where that happened? And, we don't really want anything to do with that. And then Barb's like, they're zombies. They're dead. They're dead. And Henry's like, Ben, you killed them? Why are you coming here if you killed somebody? And then when Barb tries to explain everything, Henry just starts laughing at her, being like, you're an idiot. So Barb's like, I just want your phone now. I'm just going to call them myself. And she starts walking through the home, finds where the phone is, picks it up, and Ben hangs it up. And then she starts talking about how the dead are coming back alive. And she walks right into the living room, because apparently she knows where everything is. And, of course, they're watching Night of the Living Dead on TV. And there's one guy who's getting stoned on the couch. And the daughter's like, this is what you didn't want me to hear about? Zombies? We're watching zombies right now. It's no big deal. And we come back to the living room because Henry, Ben, and Barb went to go talk in a separate room. And anyways, the stoner guy on the chair is watching Night of the Living Dead. He's like, who's against who now? I can't figure it out. Who's the bad guy? And Karen says she gets bored of the movie, so she goes upstairs, turns her TV on really loud so everyone can hear it. And then she escapes out the top window because apparently there's a ladder attached right to the window or the part of the roof that goes from her room. And she sneaks out, and then we see a couple inside the barn, smoking it up, getting stoned, and because they have nothing else to do, apparently, on the haystack, get it on, essentially. And then we find out, we don't find out. Barb tells Henry and Ben that her mom and brother are still out there. They're at the cemetery. And he's like, hey, I know Tovar. He's my neighbor. He's my closest buddy. I'll just give him a call then. She's like, was he kind of bald with a beard? And Henry's like, yeah, that's him. She's like, well, last time I actually ran into him, he was actually having a little bit of a struggle and a little bit of a dance with a zombie. So he might be a zombie as well. So then Ben's like, I'll just take you to the cops or the hospital on my motorcycle. She's like, I'm not going for the woods on that motorcycle. She's like, so why can't we just call the cops from here? He's like, is it because you're weed? And Henry's like, yeah, it kind of is. She's like, well, why don't we just flush your stash? He's like, well, there's a little bit more than just a little bit of a stash. So then we see Barb, Ben, and Henry going to the kitchen where Helly, the wife, and I think Owen is the stoner guy. And he's like, the movie was a real bummer, everyone died. Hey, also Barb, like, you didn't see any real zombies, right? Like, you're just having a hard time and like hit your head and shit, right? Zombies aren't real, right? And then as Owen's getting ready to take his joint and go outside and tell the other people to come inside and whatever else, a zombie tackles him and like bites him on the forearm, and then we have a little bit of a war going on, and then that zombie turns and starts fighting Ben. Ben picks up a giant kitchen knife and starts stabbing him in the chest, but it doesn't do anything because they don't realize you gotta go for the brain. Some in the horror movies that are understood. Like when they're sneaking around the house and they're kind of like peeking through the curtains to see outside on the front porch to see if there's any more zombies coming. They peek enough so that they open the curtain so that their whole face can fit in and not just like an eye being like looking around and be like, hey, all three of us, let's stand at the same window and move the curtains enough so that all three of us can look outside. Like, no, that's probably not the smartest thing to do. Well, at least the zombies are kind of stupid. So everyone's looking out the windows of the house, being like, oh, hey, look, everyone, the zombies they're walking away from the house. And the reason why they're walking away from the house is because the couple in the barn are doing it so loudly that they're drawing the attention of all the zombies around the goddamn area to the goddamn barn. So they originally thought it was just someone being a creep trying to watch them get it on. And then the boyfriend Tom's like, Judy, you gotta run, gotta get out of here, go get safety. So she's running around naked for a while through the zombies, and she finally gets to like the front of the truck, gets in the truck, but now the truck is surrounded by zombies. So then Tom decides to try and fight off all the zombies to push him out of the way to get into the truck. And he's having like a back and forth that goes on for like a couple minutes. He's trying to open the door, then she's slamming the door, and then there's like zombies pulling him back. But they're not trying to eat him, they're more focused on her tits apparently. And then they must have got tired of him like pulling them all back every now and then, because then all the zombies are just like, you know what, we're gonna get you done and dealt with. And they all tackle Tom to the ground and just start eating him alive. And she starts freaking out. And then she's like, oh, this is perfect time for me to maybe try and leave. She opens up the passenger door to get out. And she's like, you know what, maybe I'll just stay inside the truck naked. So then as everyone's watching Tom be alive, we then see Ben and Henry like, oh, this is a perfect time to go and save Judy as she's naked in the truck. Barb, you and Helly, you stay inside the house. We'll deal with it because we're men. They get out on the front porch, and then we see Judy's head getting ripped through the back window of the truck, and, she's dead. So they're like, you know what, we're going to head back inside now. So then Barb's like, how about you finally take your phone and call the cops? So they go use the phone, and of course the phone line's down. She's like, oh, the zombies got the phone lines too. And they go look at the TV, TV's down. It's like, no, it's probably just, bad chance luck. And Barb's like, well, what about a cell phone? When you guys gotta have a cell phone? He's like, no, I don't let anyone have cell phones. That's how they get you. That's how the cancer and stuff gets you. They detect you and everything. There's no cell phones around here at all. So then Ben and Henry go to the safe to go get the guns while everyone else is doing various things. And Henry has this little safe behind a TV, and he has Ben go away so he can, not see the passcode. Anyways, he opens up the safe, got a bunch of packs of drugs inside of it. They post out this like Clint Eastwood style belt with 2 guns. He's like, I trade this for some, Acapulco stuff from back in '76 or whatever it is. And Ben's like, Henry, that's what you got? You don't have machine guns? Nothing? Like, what's going on here, dude? He's like, I'm not Scarface, just a couple guns, that's all. And that's when Helly shows up being like, Karen? Not in the room. Not sure where she is. Kind of missing right now, to be honest with you. So they're freaking out. They're looking around the house for Karen. Can't find Karen anywhere. Then a zombie pops up in the window, and Henry just starts shooting at it and shooting at it. We can see various spots where it's supposed to be 3D. Anyways, then Ben shows up and shoots it once and drops it. But then we see a bunch of other zombies just pouring through this window now. So now they got boarded up this room too. So the zombies can't get to them. So then we have a standoff at the front door because Henry's like, I'm going out there to find Karen. Because, she's my last flesh and blood. I gotta go find her. And Ben's like, she's a smart girl. She's a smart kid. She's either safe somewhere or she's dead. We're going to get our stuff together and we're going to go out as a team. We're going to go to the truck and we're going to do it properly. You're not just going out gun wielding because you shot like 6 shots and didn't even kill 1 zombie. So then we find out Barb and Helly are up in the room changing clothes so they get better running clothes. We find out that Henry's ex-wife died 6 years ago because she was a junkie, so that was actually Karen's mom. So apparently Helly was going to be a junkie as well, but Henry saved her, so now she's trying to do the best thing that she can do to be a parent, but she has no idea what she's doing. So we see Ben and Henry in the living room, and Owen is laying on the couch. He's the one that got bed. And he starts freaking out. He's like, man, we shouldn't have watched that movie, man. Shouldn't have done it. That movie cursed us, man. Now it's a curse of the living dead because we watched that stupid movie, man. So then as the girls are getting ready to come downstairs, Helly's like, I'm going to go to the washroom quickly. And then we hear screaming because we look inside the washroom and there's bloody footprints all over the place. And then Karen shows up. And Karen is a full-on zombie. Ben is wanting to shoot Karen, but Henry won't get out of the way. He's like, no, you're not doing it, Ben. Put the gun away. As he's like moving around, Karen actually like lunges onto Henry's neck and is eating his neck essentially, and then we see a slow motion shot of Ben shooting the bullet and the gun just, the bullet flying through, and then we cut back to the staircase where we can see Karen's underneath a blanket dead, and everyone's trying to patch up Henry's throat, which is not going to work out well. Out of nowhere, we see Tover, Sid Haig's character, finally showing up again. He's whacking zombies with a shovel, and he's banging on the door, being like, Henry Cooper, you there? Hey, Henry, you there? Can you let me inside, please? It's Junior. I'm just whacking zombies with a shovel here. I need some help, please. They finally let him inside the house. He's like, thanks for finally letting me inside, guys. Appreciate it. I made it all the way around the house before you finally let me in. Hey, it's funny seeing you again, Barb. Glad you took my advice. She's like, what, to run away? He's like, well, yeah, that's the only advice I had at the time. So then as he's sitting down in the chair, being like, hey, so you guys got any, like, tea or, like, water? You guys are staring at me. I'd be happy to get it myself if you really want me to. I'm just kind of thirsty because I've been running for a while now. And Henry's like, just wait a minute. Brian was saying that these things are coming out of your mortuary. And Harold, or Tover's just like, hi. Yeah, well, they're dead people. They're coming out everywhere, really. So then Tover is like, actually, to be honest with you guys, started a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks probably, and started with Twitch here and there, and I just thought me being old, just me losing my mind. But then some of them started getting up, and I wasn't sure what was going on. And then he goes on explaining, these zombies aren't strong enough, so they're not able to break out the caskets and not able to get out the ground. Apparently all the zombies that are coming out right now are all the ones that were supposed to be cremated. And apparently Tover Sr. is the one that did all the cremations, and he wanted his son to help him to do the cremations. And he just never was able to stand the fire and deal with the burning, so he was never one that got into cremations. And then Henry's like, your dad died 2 years ago. So you mean you've been storing dead bodies for 2 years when you've been supposed to be cremating them? He's like, well, yeah, I guess so. Didn't seem like that long, though. And he's like, yeah, there's everything's there, too, that need to be cremated, and that never happened. Medical leftovers. He's like, Henry, you never knew we weren't actually certified. So that's how we got a lot of our best clients. A lot of science labs and whatnot would bring us stuff so it's, off the books, essentially. And we would cremate it. But, like I said, Daddy's been gone for a while, and I was never able to handle the fire. So I'm assuming that's probably why all this started, because of all these medical experiment pieces that are all just hanging around together. And then Owen randomly wakes up on the couch being like, oh man, this is the worst nightmare ever. So then Ben goes to check on him and be like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, well, I'm kind of hungry, to be honest with you. And then Ben's like, man, you're freezing. Let's cover you up. Let's lay you down so you can relax a little bit. And then Owen keeps trying to sit up to try and like hug Ben. And then Tover's like, you better be careful. Chomp, chomp. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, you don't want to get bit. Your friend died there a couple minutes ago. He's trying to act like he's still human so he can get close to bite you. And then you'll turn into one of them. But you should probably, off him. And then Tover stands up and grabs the shovel. He's like, what are you talking about, man? He's not dead. And then Owens pops up and he's completely grayed out like a zombie. And he attacks Ben. And the next thing you know, we see Tover pushing him out of the way and using the shovel and literally just chopping off like from the nose up of Owen's head. He's like, see, told you he was a zombie. So then Tover's like, alright guys, so the plan is let's get back to my spot because it's going to be a little bit safer, and the dead are walking down this way because they know there's life down this way. And he's like, I know the phone lines is down here as well. And Barb's like, how'd you know? He's like, well, I saw the phone line down. Some poor son of a bitch drove his car into the bowl and took the whole thing down. So then we see Barb, Ben, and Topher going outside because the zombies are all starting to break in the house. They go over to the Cooper truck and they don't realize that, Judy is naked and dead inside there. And then we see Henry Helly and Karen, well, Karen dead, but being carried upstairs to her room, and, Henry's having, a nervous breakdown, mental breakdown, most likely. And then we see back in the room, we see Henry hugging Helen, and then we see from outside, we just see 2 gunshots going off. I'm assuming, it's her being shot, and then him taking his own life because, he's bit, so he knows he doesn't have much time. So then we see Barb, Ben, and Tover walking down the road, and Ben's like, wow, I sure wish I had my jacket. And Barbara's like, oh, because you're a drug dealer. So then she throws down the money, and they start arguing. And Tover's just looking at it, being like, come on, guys, can we stop? And then Barb goes to throw a rock over at a zombie. And she's like, I'm just done with you guys. And it's her brother and her mom. And they both get executed by Ben, who just comes up with the gun and just pops both of them in the head. So then they show up at this car, and it's all bloody. He's like, it might still work. Ben's like, be my guest. Tover's like, it's only a little bit of blood. I'm not too worried about it. And then Ben goes over to the driver's seat. He's like, come on, let's be a little bit more positive. Let's get in the car. This might be our last chance. And then out of nowhere, Tover just hits him in the back of the head with a shovel. And then Tover just looks over at Barb being like, I'm sorry. It just has to be this way. So then Barb just runs off to the random building, and then Tover follows with the car because he puts Ben in the trunk of the car. He's like, Miss, be careful in there, all right? Come on, miss, you gotta be careful. She's like, get away from me. And there's a zombie inside this room that's taped to a chair, and we find out it's his dad. It's because he keeps calling it Papa Zombie. He's like, you don't have to be afraid of it. Don't worry about Papa. And then we find out Tover's been feeding like blood out of his wrist to his dad. So it's like, I'm assuming Papa Zombie doesn't have teeth, so he's just like numbing them. Or how's Topher Jr. not becoming a zombie already? So out of nowhere, Barb pulls a Zippo. She's like, you like fire? I'm going to set this whole damn building on fire. And then she lights Papa Zombie's hand on fire. And Tover's just standing there being like, Papa. And then next thing you know, the Papa's looking at the hand. It's kind of being like, oh, cool fire. And then the whole body just goes up in flames. And Tover's just like, damn it. And Barbara's in the front seat of the car. I'm not sure if she's trying to get started or trying to pop the trunk. Anyways, then Topher Sr. just pops, or Jr. pops up and just pops her in the head. And next thing you know, we see them getting drove back to the morgue. So then they get back to the morgue, and Gerald is taking her into a room with a bunch of other zombies. He's like, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to kill you. Just think of it. You can get reborn, and I'm going to take care of you guys after everything, okay? Well, I'll take care of y'all. Don't worry about it. Just try not to bite me too much, all right? So then we see Barb get free from Gerald in the room with all the zombies, and then all the zombies just start mauling at him. He's like, hey, stop it, and we just see his jacket getting ripped apart. We see him biting his shoulder, his elbows, and pretty much anywhere and everywhere that they can get, essentially. And at this point in time, Barbara's in the car with the door shut, and then we see Tover going over to the front door, driver door, trying to ask for help, and then they just rip open his stomach and pull out all his intestines. And it's like, yeah, well, that's not good. We see Ben and Barb both get out of the car. At one point in time, Barb got the car started and rammed it in reverse, and somehow, I forget what she hits, but the trunk just pops open, and the next thing you know, we see Ben opening the door being like, Barb, come on, they're too busy eating his intestines, let's get out of here. So as they're outside, Barb's like, there's one bullet left, I need you to help me do this, I can't do this on my own. And that's when she's looking down at Ben's chest, and he's got like a piece of a tire iron through the back of him and through his chest. He's like, but when did this happen? And of course it happened when she put the car in reverse. Then we see a close-up shot of Ben's eyes as he's, starting to die, and they're going gray. And then he just reaches out his hand saying, Barb, and she shoots him right in the head, and, blood goes all over the back of the garage door. And the garage door opens up, and we see the zombie slowly walking at her as she's just standing there, staring at them. And then the movie just ends on a still shot of the zombies reaching out for her. We hear Barbara screaming, and that's the end of the movie. I don't know if it's because I'm sick or not, but I thought this was a different movie, honestly. I thought Sid Haig was in it a lot more, but I thought it was based around the morgue a lot more as well. Maybe I'm just thinking of a totally different movie altogether. Maybe I'm just sick and not realizing. Who knows? It is what it is. The zombie effects weren't amazing. Not bad, but nothing great. I could definitely tell where the 3D effects were supposed to be. So that would have been pretty cool to see some of them in the movie theater. That would have been pretty cool. The concept that he's been keeping his grandpa, or not his grandpa, his papa alive, and like he was doing experiments essentially because they were unlicensed, so he had all these experimental parts coming in. Interesting concept. I wish there was a little bit more to that than the actual like farmhouse. I wish they delved into that a little bit more. But nonetheless, I thought it was a fun movie. I'm then again a sucker for zombie movies, and this was just an easy watch essentially. But on the zombie scale, I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 10 on the Rotten scale. Nothing crazy. Yeah, you got Sid Haig as like the main cover image and everything, but he's really not in the movie as much as you want him to be in the movie. So it is what it is, you know. Which brings us to the point in time where we're going to pick a movie that we're going to watch next week. It's going to be another one that you can find on Amazon Prime if you're a Prime user. This one is from 1999. It's just called Bats. Description on Prime: in a small Texan town, mutated bats wreak havoc, leaving the sheriff and a bat expert as the only line of defense against the winged menace. And with that, hopefully you guys will check that one out. I've watched this movie a couple times. I enjoy it. It's a fun one. It's a little bit silly at times. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. And hopefully by the next episode, I will be 100% better. Just going to take the next week or so off and go from there. So as always, make sure to check out the outro band, trial-based horror band, Blood Opera, if you're listening on Spotify. They are linked directly in every single episode now at the end, so you can check them out there. If not, check out the links down below in the description. Find them on Amazon Music, YouTube, anywhere and everywhere. Check out all my social media accounts at Typhonstein. Check out the YouTube channel where you get the weekly game video, various daily shorts, as well as community posts, and a bunch of other free content and live streams coming soon. As well, check out the CWC Canadian Wrestling Championship page on Instagram, Facebook, as well as YouTube.
And the last thing that I didn't promote earlier, check out the TeePublic link site down below if you want to buy some merch. And I am going to go rest. Have a good one, folks. Peace.
I am the whisper in the classroom, the writing on the wall. What's blood?